Hello and welcome to another episode of the Whiskey House Pub House. Today is going to mark the first episode for the month of September, which is Bourbon Heritage Month. In this month, we are going to take a look at specifically bourbon-themed episodes. Now, with me today is Liquor Boy. Hello. Carter and Zach are taking a break and will join us in future episodes. But it's going to be hopefully an interesting month that we have before us. So let's get into our intro and kick off this episode. So Liquor Boy, what do you know about Bourbon Heritage Month?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Not really.
What do you know? What?
Well, last year, Buffalo Trace released the special state versions of the bottles. That's all I know.
They did?
Yeah.
I don't remember that for some reason.
They got auctioned off. I think it was for the floods down in Kentucky.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And the Minnesota one went for like the least amount of every other state.
Why?
Because it's Minnesota.
Yeah, but what about like Iowa?
No idea.
I mean, Iowa sucks.
Iowa does suck.
Unless you're a listener from Iowa, then we appreciate you and everything that your state has contributed.
Nothing.
I think they got a corn. No, they got some sort of corn thing.
Is it Iowa or South Dakota that has the Corn Palace?
It's Iowa. I'm pretty certain on that.
Okay.
Don't question Bruce Dickinson. Well, so just a little coverage. We'll just talk a little bit about Bourbon Heritage Month before getting into our kind of our main topic. So some Google Foo reveals that the festival that became Bourbon Heritage Month started in September 1991. And then in 2007, it was recognized as a national month by the Senate. That was so according to the Senate, thus we have Bourbon Heritage Month. But it was a bill that was sponsored by the senator of Kentucky, and it essentially just reinforces the 1964 resolution that Congress passed that recognizes bourbon as a distinct product of the United States, and thus September was just chosen as the month to kind of take focus into bourbon. So what do you think about that?
I think.
Do we need a reason to talk more about bourbon on this podcast?
Probably not.
Probably not. We purposely took a break from whiskey in general after doing the Scotch stuff. We did the tequila and rum. I love rum.
Tequila.
Do you know tequila makes you take clothes off?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's what the next section of episodes are going to be going forward. We're actually recording these pretty far ahead of time because
only a couple weeks.
Well, it's pretty far for us.
I guess that's true.
We are actually going to be in Kentucky for the decent chunk of September.
Yes, sir.
So that's why we're doing some batch shooting so I can edit these and get these in ahead of time so that I can actually enjoy my vacation and these can come out on a schedule.
Yeah.
As usual, it is hard to get everyone ahead and to sit down and come together for episodes.
I try.
I think you all say that.
I don't like tequila or rum, so I was just like, nah.
I know you're talking about that. You're talking about the fact it's a pain in the butt to try to figure out how to get everyone in.
That's true. So what are we talking about today?
I don't know. I'm trying to have a conversation. I'm trying to keep this episode interesting and the listeners interacted and involved. I mean, what's something that we can talk about? Like, why?
What are you looking forward to down in Kentucky?
There you go. Now you're thinking. I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm looking forward to a lot. I'm looking forward to the hunting.
Oh yeah.
Looking forward to the tours.
All I want to do. The only thing that I have to do in Kentucky is meet Jimmy.
Jimmy, I love you, Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool to meet him.
That's it. I just want to say hello, kiss him, and leave.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That's one thing to do. I mean, that's the only thing to do.
When you're, I mean, that's what else are you gonna do when you're in Kentucky?
I mean, you could go see the Louisville Slugger Museum. You could go to the Corvette Museum. You could go to, what else could you go to? You could go
the Fraser
Museum,
which I think, are we gonna try and do that?
I think we're gonna try to. Actually, the Fraser Museum, I'm gonna be kind of excited about.
Yeah, because it's all it's like a bourbon museum, isn't it?
Yeah, we should talk a little bit about that. Like the history of bourbon, like is probably honestly that was one of the biggest things that got me into whiskey is the history behind it and what I found so interesting.
All whiskey.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, because American whiskey isn't the tee-off point for it. I mean, Scotch would definitely be probably more so that. I mean, there's different areas of the world that distillation was kind of getting kicked around. China was one of them. The Arab area apparently was one of the early beds of distillation too. But I mean, what we know as of whiskey was Scotland.
Right.
And Ireland too, for that matter. But it was all clear spirits up until it came into the United States. Once colonialists and colonists came and started making farms, claiming their own land, that's when, American spirits kind of took its shape. It kind of went, finally, they used the grains they had on hand. And it was mostly rye at the time, too.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Rye. But corn was, something that came from the New World. So they started planting it. And over time, it became the choice spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Or, excuse me, it's choice grain. And then there's a lot of ways that there's a lot of stories why they started aging in barrels. I think the dominant one that a lot of people know about is the story of Elijah Craig.
Okay.
And him being the supposed father of bourbon. Have you heard that story?
Nope.
No?
I have not.
There's a good book you should read or listen to called Bourbon, The Rise, Fall, and Rebirth by Fred Minnick.
I don't know how to read.
Well, there's an audiobook for that.
Oh, sick.
But they talk about in like the 60s, there was a push to get bourbon as a unique spirit of the United States. And so they kind of made this story for this American on how he invented bourbon. And it kind of just so happened that they kind of just selected the man Elijah Craig.
So he was an actual person.
He was an actual person.
Okay.
He was a distiller.
Oh, okay.
There is nothing around like if, ands, or buts about it. He was a distiller. The problem is they claim that there was a barn fire. He had barrels in that barn, and the only thing that survived was the barrels, but they were barely intact. They were charred up, and he didn't have enough money to make or buy new ones, so he filled his spirit in those charred barrels, thus becoming the first person to put corn whiskey into a new charred oak barrel and letting it age and creating bourbon whiskey as we now know it today. The problem is, where does the charring on the barrel go?
Definitely not on the outside.
Yeah, not on the outside. So if you had a fire, you're not going to get anything inside that barrel unless that barrel has fallen apart. So that's problem one.
Right.
The other problem is there is no record of him being the first to do that. In fact, there's not really a lot of record to say who did what first. There's a lot of people that seem like they were one of the firsts, but they never were credited with discovering a process or inventing the process. It was just kind of like, there's not much record before this guy, but according to what this guy said, there definitely seems like there was a couple years before that somebody else was doing it. That's where we get figures such as Crow. I think Dr. Crow, he was one of the best distilleries at the time, and J.W. Dant. There's a lot of these figures there that were known for making very good whiskey, but the problem is like nobody really knows who was the foreman, like who the guy was.
First.
So it kind of seems like there was all these processes that were developed around the same time that were kind of, it's possible that like the community itself helped to introduce refinements and things and to put in place that kind of just trickled down and eventually became what we knew today. But I mean, there wasn't any mention of bourbon until like the 1850s.
And that was, what you said, that was in like 17 something?
What was? Craig?
Yeah.
What's the Elijah Craig year on? It's like 817 something.
I have no idea.
It's one of those things that's like, I've seen that bottle 1,000 times, but I couldn't tell you what the year is on it.
No idea.
I can't see it from where I'm sitting, but I think it was like 1784.
1792?
No, I think it's, let's do the Google. 1789. What did I say?
I can't remember.
All right. We'll figure it out in post. But so I think that's the year that they credited him. But the thing was they needed someone to kind of take the lead as far as someone they can credit. Because it looked a lot better than not having anyone definitively.
Yeah.
So then in 64, as we talked about earlier, they pushed through Congress to recognize that as a unique product of the United States. And so then they can help protect it. And anyone that did trade agreements with the United States, one of those things was you have to recognize that bourbon is something made by the United States and can only be made in the United States, et cetera, et cetera. And it's kind of the gist. But they were doing that because in that time, bourbon was kind of falling at the wayside and they were trying to help it, but they kind of just was a little too late. But it came back. So
yes, it did.
So what do you think about that?
Well, I didn't know any of that, so
that's why I want to go to J.W. Dant, because Dant has a lot of history and stuff too.
Where is that?
I think it's by Beam.
Down in
Claremont?
Claremont? Yeah.
I think it's down by Claremont. I might be wrong. I'm not a Kentuckian.
Are we going to Castle and Key?
I think we were going to stop by. I don't think we were going to take the tour.
Yeah, because I want to stop by Glenn's Creek. The one I sent to you the other day.
Old Crow.
Yeah.
Super important figure.
Old Crow?
Yeah. Super important. He is credited being like the best, like in a specific time frame, he was making the best bourbon whiskey for his time. Like, it's not even an argument.
And now it's like bottom shelf.
Yeah, because they bought it from...
Who owns it now?
Beam.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they were part of National Distillers. They got bought by Beam in the... like 82. They bought National Distillers. But they were still using National Distiller juice and Old Grandad up until like the 90s. And some of the National Distiller stuff is regarded as like some of the best stuff. That's why they every once in a while you hear someone talk about Chessman decanters. You ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
There are these decanter series that national distillers made in the 60s, maybe a little earlier than that. And if you find one that are intact, they are regarded as like some of the best that you can find. Dusty bottles that you can find. Fred Minnick talks about them all the time. He mentioned that he knows what the weight should be of like a non-evaporated, unopened decanter.
Who just memorizes that?
Oh, because he's bought multiple.
Oh.
So he knows what, like, if it's underweight, it's gone through evaporation, it's probably bad. If it's at the right weight, in theory, it should be good, but they're like stupid money.
What if it's overweight?
I don't think that's possible. But they just look like chess pieces from like a chessboard.
That's interesting.
Mm. But it's supposed to be really good juice.
You should find one.
Oh, it'll be like $15,000 or something stupid.
$15,000?
Yeah.
That's insane.
They're really good, supposedly. Never had it. Hey, if you want to send us in a Chessman piece, you can message me at Dylan at Whiskey House Pop House on Instagram. But yeah. No, I think it's going to be seeing these distilleries and the history that each one of them has. Because, I mean, all of them have ties at this point to just the overall history of American whiskey.
Right.
It's really, as if you are a bourbon lover or just enjoy it, or if you just like history, it is some of the richest history that the United States has. Because it ties into Prohibition, it ties into the Revolutionary War, it ties into World Wars, how distillers were used during those wars to produce materials for those efforts. And alcohol has ties to pretty much every major event.
Everything.
Yeah, I mean, it was medicine.
Literally.
Yeah. It saved lives.
Right.
That's a fact.
So what distillery are you looking forward to most down in Kentucky?
I don't know. I'm really looking forward to the tours at Buffalo Trace that we have scheduled.
All three of them.
I mean, Beam is going to be really interesting. I think the grounds of Castle and Key, I'm looking forward to, because it just has, it's not modernized like a lot of the stuff is, but I mean, everything's different, but it's all equally as good.
Right.
So I think it's going to be fun. Even like Willett will be interesting when we stop by, and Michter's.
There's so many.
There's so much stuff.
I'm excited for the Evan Williams experience.
Mm-hmm.
See if we can get our bottle of Evan Williams 12.
Is it Evan Williams? Oh, that is one that they have. Is it always Evan Williams 12 though?
I don't remember.
I don't know if it is. I think sometimes they have like different Heaven Hill bottles. I forget what it is. It's like William Heaven Hill or something.
Those are expensive.
I know, but those ones you find at the store or something on Whiskey Row.
Yes.
Hey, what about speaking of Whiskey Row, the new Old Forester Whiskey Row series? What is that? The 1915?
No idea.
Or is that the one that was made up? Because that one was like a 10-year one, and I forget when that's supposed to come out. They did announce the birthday bourbon this year. Do you see that?
I have not.
They just said it'll be for sale like the first week of September.
Oh,
there's definitely a chance that we could be, if we timed it out right.
We didn't even.
I knew that. They always do it in September.
No, well, right, but we didn't even plan this trip because it was Bourbon Heritage Month. At least I didn't realize it until...
I realized it was perfect.
Right. I didn't realize it.
1924. That's the new one. It's a 10-year-old Old Forester.
Okay. That'll be good.
At 50%, supposedly. But I haven't heard anything about that. I don't know when that's supposed to come out or what.
Did they say anything special it's about the birthday bourbon this year?
No, they didn't. I didn't see the details on it.
Is it like different finishing every year, or...
I don't know.
I know nothing about Old Forester.
Well, they have heat cycled warehouses. That's one of the big things of Old Forester is they are some of the younger whiskey producers, but they're so good at cycling the warehouse that they can kind of get by. Like, it's one of the few distilleries that nobody's like offended when you bring that up.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We're doing the 3 tours at Buffalo Trace.
Okay, so this is the Old Forester 2022 birthday bourbon. This is what
2022?
Yeah, isn't that this year? Oh, 23. Oh. Okay, so yeah, they do not have this year's
Released yet?
Was there not a 2021?
Couldn't tell you.
How in the heck do they... I don't think this is real. I just found like the label of it.
Mm-hmm.
It is a 12-year-old bourbon at 48% alcohol.
That's it?
I mean, that's... What more do you want?
Barrel proof?
Yeah, but the birthday bourbon's never been about that. We'll see. It'll probably be like $130. Not that anyone will see it. Because we won't.
I mean, well...
Once again, if you want to send us a bottle of birthday bourbon, you can message me at Dylan at Whiskey House Pop House on Instagram.
Any of them.
Or a sample. Hey, we take samples.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, there'll be a lot of cool stuff to do.
So we're going to Buffalo Trace 5 days in a row. Doing 3 tours there. We're going to Jim Beam.
Yep.
Maker's Mark. Evan Williams Experience. We're doing a tasting at Heaven Hill. Jack Daniels, but that's not bourbon. What other tours do we have? Nelson Greenbrier, but again, that's Tennessee.
We're not doing a tour.
We're not?
At Nelson's Greenbrier, are we?
I don't remember.
I don't think so.
Going to Wild Turkey.
I don't even think we didn't. Did we get a tour at Beam or not Beam? Jack?
Yeah.
Oh, we did. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Maker's Mark.
Yeah,
we're doing
that.
Oh, you did.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that one's going to be awesome.
Yeah, no, I think Maker's Mark. Did you see their extra old expression that they supposedly releasing?
No, I haven't heard about that.
They're doing. So the problem is, I've heard 2 things.
Okay.
I've seen a picture for a bottle that's a blend of 11 and 12 year Maker's Mark at a little bit under the 50%, I believe. I think it's like 48%.
Okay.
And the other thing is I saw or heard somebody saying there was a 10-year-old expression from Maker's Mark.
A 10-year?
Yeah.
Okay.
But if that 11 and 12-year thing is true, or I mean, I'm pretty sure that one's legit. But whenever that comes out, if that came out like when we were there, oh, hype. It'd be so good. I don't know if it will.
Is that replacing the...
No, it's not. The wood finishing series is on hold. I don't know what's going to be coming out. They haven't announced that this is going to be a replacement for that. And they haven't said anything on what the regular releases would be for this. If this is going to be like a yearly release or a one-time thing. Nobody really knows that much. It might be like a one-time thing, and then they might do a year release down the line. Nobody really knows.
Interesting.
But I mean, we don't really have any point of reference for old Maker's Mark.
Yeah, what's the oldest stuff that...
Probably 6, 7.
They've been around forever.
Right. Well, since 50s, 60s. You think they would have some older stuff, but they don't. I mean, they have no limiteds other than the wood finishing stuff. And there's nothing older than like 8 years, I think. But a lot of people say that if they release some older stuff, it would go toe to toe with William LaRue, or even outright just beat it.
That would be crazy.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like the biggest problem that Makers has, in my opinion, it's got a little bit of a grassy mintiness to it.
Okay.
And if that is something that is aged out,
then it would be.
And you have like cask strength. Oh, man. That would be good.
Well, like the 46 cask strength is.
Right.
It's really good.
It is, but it's probably only like 6 years. 7 years. I mean, if you put another 6 years on that, it'd be awesome.
That'd be crazy.
People were talking about it, that if, they could, because they're part of Beam Suntory. Like if Beam Suntory.
Makers?
Yeah.
Okay.
If Beam Suntory did something similar to the BTAC release, like they could do a Knob Creek, like a real nice Knob Creek yearly edition. They could do, like an Old Granddad. That's a different mash bill. But if they had Old Granddad,
like old Granddad,
yeah, they could do that. Knob Creek, a Maker's Mark. Oh goodness,
that would be
a rye, like a Knob Rye or a Booker's Rye to come out. Do another Booker's Rye. There you go. And like one other one you could do. That would go toe to toe with BTAC all day.
Is there really anything that goes against BTAC?
No, just because there's not a line. If they just made that revenue, or made not the revenue, but if they just made that venue for old stock, because they don't. I mean, what they got? Oh, they got Knob Creek 18. It's just like, well, that's
me.
That's not even in the same league as the BTAC is.
No,
it's like it doesn't feel like it's an attempt to go against the BTAC because it's not a yearly release. Like they need something to compete with Stag Jr. Or not Stag Jr. George C. Stag.
What about like the Bookers?
They could do an old Bookers. I'm just saying something like, the Knob Creek Bookers that will go against your George C. Stag.
Or the Little Book.
No.
Why?
Because the Little Book is a ever-changing line. They need a constant.
Right.
Little Book is purposed that way to be an experimental outlet. And Knob Creek is always like you're right. It's always, well, actually you could do Knob Creek and just keep that at like 100. So you could do like an old 100 proof Knob Creek. Yeah. I mean, because we've had, we got the 9-year now, we've had 12-year, we've had 15, we had 18. You could just keep doing a real nice 18-year-old or around there.
Is the 18 100 proof?
Yeah.
I've
never had it. I haven't seen it.
I've had Elijah Craig 18.
I've had the 15. I own the 15. It's pretty good.
What about the 12?
Yeah, I own the 12.
Okay.
I have a cask strength 12 too. It's 120.
Is that like an old bottle?
It's a couple years. I don't know if it.
Do they still do cask strength versions?
I don't know. I haven't.
I've never seen one.
I saw it at the Colburns when I was still in that area.
Oh, okay.
It was a 12-year 120.6, 0.8, something like that. I still have it. It's good. For some reason, I just fell out of Knob Creek for a bit. But no, it's all good. But I mean, I think they should do something like that. It'd be kind of fun. I mean, they have the Hardin Creek now, or was it Hardin Creek?
Yeah. Hardin's Creek or something.
Hardin's Creek, and they're like it's different locations or something from Beam.
I've seen a little bit on it, but I don't really,
because they had a Claremont. I don't know what this new one is. I've told I'm supposed to get it. I mean, I know of it, but each one is a
You're
different.
supposed to get it.
Each one is from a different location of theirs, like the aging.
So are they just gonna like go back to a different one when they run out?
I don't know. But I mean, this one's like 17 years old.
Wow,
That's old. I mean, that's crazy.
That's Beam, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I think they're kind of trying. It seems like they're trying to do it, but they just don't. It's not that collection, because there is a. It's coveted. You want to try to get all of those B-Tacs.
I know. You
want to get all that set from that specific year, and it's going to cost you some change, but that's what people want to do. So we should probably get into our main theme. At least sip some stuff. We haven't even drank anything today, and it's Monday. We never record on Monday.
Nope, but we need episodes.
Yeah. So we can come back to our conversation, but let's at least get something in our glass. We're going to be doing today is we recently procured a Russell's 13, and another store is doing a raffle for Russell's 13 in our area. And the question kind of brought up is like, is there a comparable Wild Turkey or Russell's product that you could get
a little easier, maybe
90 to 80% there? That's easier. You know, how does it compare to, in this instance, we have a Russell store pick. We're going to compare
Russell single barrel.
Single barrel. And the discussion we had is, would this compare to how close would Rare Breed get to a Russell's 13? And I think we're trying to help it out a little bit. So we are using a Rare Breed non-chill filter, which is a
travel exclusive
that we do have. But, all fair and love and war, so.
They're a little easier to get than a Russell's 13.
Yeah.
Well, they're
less expensive.
Yeah. By a lot.
So I think let's, the question is, do we start with the Russell's 13 for a baseline, or do we start? I think that's what we would do.
That works.
All right, let's try that. This is when I wish we had like some break music. All right. I got my Russells.
I'm working on it.
So the Russell's 13 is 57.4% alcohol.
Is that it?
That's it. So that Rare Breed is a little bit higher. It's 58.
Yeah.
And you wanted to use Russell's 10 year.
Well, I've just seen a lot of people doing that recently.
Comparing the 13 to the 10?
Yeah.
It's like 45%.
Yeah.
I feel like the biggest problem is going to be the percentage and not the age necessarily.
Oh, it smells so good.
On the nose, it's very cherry.
A little woody.
Yeah, for 13 years.
I've been trying to find this bottle for so long.
Spicy.
It is a little spicy.
Yeah, you're never able to find one for some reason.
No, I'm never able to pay for one. I'll find them.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, who found you this bottle?
I think I did.
Oh, did you now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or, no, that's not true. Zach found it.
Oh, okay.
Good old Zach brought it to me.
Gotta love Zach. Because he didn't drive like 40 minutes to go pick it up and have to hold it the whole way home and not even...
There's a nice vanilla, and...
I get marker.
That's
like a Sharpie, yeah. But like it's very out there.
No, I get spices. Almost a vanilla, maybe some sort of, I don't know if I want to say nougat or if it's got some caramel.
Yeah.
All right, let's taste it. It hits up front with the wood spice.
Yeah, it does.
And then the cherry is after that. And it's got a good burn from the alcohol.
The first pour of the day.
Yeah, it's just like a Luxardo cherry on a wood plank, toasted. It's actually more like the there is Luxardo, but it's like that strawberry shell on like a dilly bar.
Strawberry shell. Okay.
Yeah, like a strawberry dilly bar.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that.
Don't know if I've ever had one of those.
I'm sorry. I didn't know I was talking to a robot.
What?
You've never had a dilly bar?
Not a strawberry one.
You've never had a strawberry dilly bar? Like
No.
any type of ice cream with a hard shell? Like a strawberry
Yeah.
one? Jeez.
I don't like strawberry. How? What?
I don't like strawberry. You don't like anything.
I like bourbon.
I'm surprised you like bourbon. It's almost too exotic for you.
It's not exotic. It's from the U.S.
That's why I'm saying it's almost too exotic for you.
Remember, I'm 50% Wisconsin, 50% New York, and 50% Italian.
Oh, yeah.
How's that for exotic?
It's peppery. Is it good? Yes.
It is good.
So here's the thing is I told you this. I had this just a little bit. What I forget exactly what I told you, but I'm like, I said it was fine. It was good.
Mhm.
Not my favorite. For you, what is this coming across as?
Not gonna lie, it just tastes like an old Russell's 10. I get a lot of the same notes from Russell's 10, but just not
$130 for MSR.
Yeah. And I mean, not as hot, but you get the cherry and the vanilla. Maybe not so much of the pepper.
Well, and yeah, that's coming from the alcohol.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of good turkey products now. The 101 12
Mm-hmm.
and the Father and Son 13, stuff like that. But it's just like I think I don't know where this lines up for me. But Wild Turkey is Turkey is just not my favorite distillery.
Yeah.
Like all of these are very similar.
Yes and no. I think they've all got a little bit different enough for me to
How much of the Master keeps now?
like secondary.
No, just SRP.
The new Voyage is 200.
So like $70 more. Eat a
Mhm.
Master's Keep, in theory.
Yeah, but that's almost harder to find than a Russell's 13.
But why is this $130?
I don't know. When the 10-year, I mean, assuming they're the same mash bill
Well, they have to be. I'm sure they are.
or the same, I don't know if there's anything different. But
No,
you
I
go
don't-
from $40 to 100.
Well, it's cast strength in 3 more years. I'm
Yeah,
telling.
but-
I still think that 10-year at some point is going to go away. But
Well, that's good. We've got like 6 bottles of it.
I mean, this is no Jack 12.
When I was over at your house,
You see it?
I saw it,
Yeah.
and I was just like,
I almost thought you should grab it, but it wasn't have been on theme for Bourbon Heritage Month.
well, I looked at it, and I'm like, would he know if I had some? And I'm just like, that'd be wrong. I can't do it.
That would be wrong.
I'd feel guilty.
It's good. I wouldn't feel bad paying retail on this once, but that's just me. But I don't think I'm not impressed. You know what I mean?
Everything that everyone says, it's like, oh, it's so good, it's the best, blah 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 blah. It's good, but it's also $150.
I would put this on my overhyped list, I think, for this year.
Well, I mean, I can't remember what batch this is.
It's got to be 3 or 4. 4.
There's only 3.
Maybe, well, yeah, maybe it's 4. It's got to be, I mean, it's probably 2 then.
2 or 3. It's got numbers on it, but I can't remember. Yeah. Not like the scanning barcode. It's got like etched on the bottom of the glass. Not the bottom, but like the base. It's back there somewhere. You can like barely see him. I can't remember. He told me what batch it was when I picked it up, but I can't remember.
It wasn't 3, wasn't 2.
It could have been either one. It wasn't 1.
No, it's definitely not.
It's not batch 1.
It's not. I mean, it's fine.
It's good.
I mean, this just brings me the questions like, are we just falling into the FOMO? I mean, I think we are.
I don't know. That's why we're here.
Exactly. What's the next one you want to try? I kind of want to do the rare breed.
Okay.
Rare breed? All right, we're going to do the rare breed non-chill filtered travel exclusive. This is 58.4. I mean, this is the only Wild Turkey product that's non-chill filtered. That's disclosed.
Right. It does smell different.
Well, it's a different bourbon, technically.
I mean, yeah. Maple.
It's got a softer nose. Like, hands down, it's already got a softer nose.
I get a lot of maple on this.
I can see that. The spiciness is gone. For sure.
We've both had this before.
Only one other time for me. I own this bottle. I have not opened it.
Oh, you haven't opened yours yet?
No.
Should have sold it.
No, I really like it.
Oh, so you just come over here and drink my bottle?
Yeah, that's why. Dude, we could have the podcast store in my house. You don't want to.
Not after what happened down there.
Hey, what stays in the basement?
What happened in the basement? What happens in the closet stays in the closet.
Yep.
That's why you should fix it, and we should do it down there. Because
I want to, because then we can stop like setting up and tearing down like every podcast, and then I can actually buy equipment that I want, other than these collapsible stands. If you want to support us, please message me at Dylan at Whiskey House Pub House. Just send me an emoji for cash. That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
And it's never been the same after Snap Cash left.
I never used Snap Cash. That was before my time.
That was sketchy. I'm not sure how that worked.
I don't really know what it is.
I was like trying to explain how a credit card worked to someone from like 1920s.
Ooh.
It's like, what happens? Well, you put in the money sign and you put a number in and then you hit send and somehow it takes
is that
cash.
how it works?
Yes.
Oh, that's
super sketchy. It's weird.
So like you would accidentally send people money?
Yeah.
You're just saying like, hey, you owe me $40.
Yeah.
And then it just sends them $40.
Well, I think there's maybe 1 or 2 extra steps, but it was not like Venmo. It was not like it was weird. Snapchat should not be trusted to send money.
Yeah, no, Snapchat should not be trusted, period.
There's a little bit of a nuttiness to this. Like a shell of a peanut.
Peanut shell. Okay, yep.
All right, I'm going to taste it. This is better.
Oh my goodness, it's so much better.
So much better.
It's so sweet.
It's different. I mean, this is
the whole point.
It's different. That's what I was getting into. Is like, is this better? You and I think it's better. Is it the same as the Russell's 13? No. This is much like, it's hotter. This is,
but it doesn't drink hotter.
It doesn't. This is more oily, more vanilla.
Right? Yeah. I can't wait for my parents to go back to Mexico.
It does have maple. To me, this is a way better bottle.
Wow.
It has a much better mouthfeel than the 13.
Oh, yeah.
The 13's interesting. It has a lot of oak. I love oak. The problem is it doesn't have this is more complex. The rare breed non-chill filter is more complex.
Mm-hmm.
But it's different. That's the problem that I would say is this test is if we're trying to find things to match it up to the Russell's 13, these don't match.
This kind of sucks. I'm kind of disappointed in the 13.
I know, it's FOMO.
I still want a bottle of it though. I don't know what to say. I gotta complete my collection.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
it's so much better, dude. It's got a cola note to it.
Oh, that's what it is. Yep.
Jeez, this is so much better.
I'm so glad I got 2-liter bottles of this. 2 1-liter bottles.
Oh,
That's
you got
not
yeah.
I
Well,
still
that's
got.
that's the other thing is like what travel price was 60 or was it under 60?
It was $54.
Oh my god, it was 54. I forgot.
$54.
$54 a liter.
That's what we paid.
1 liter.
No taxes.
This is the best deal in whiskey.
I cannot wait.
How much would you spend on a bottle of this? If this was a $7.50, how much would you spend on this rare breed?
I don't think I'm the right person to ask that question because I spent.
No. You are. That's why this is better than all the other wild turkey stuff that we have. Like between you and I, this is better than all of them. Maybe
decades.
Maybe the Master Cubes that I have.
I've paid a lot more for a lot less.
I mean, if I was going to drink them, I would take this over the 13.
Oh yeah.
But if I had the opportunity again to buy each at retail, I would still take the rare breed for retail.
Yeah.
Then $130 bottle of I could buy 2 of those. I'd have 2 liters.
I did. Oh. Next time someone I know goes down to Mexico, I'm getting a couple more.
Yeah.
That's the thing you got to do is you got to get someone to go down to Mexico. I don't know if it's everywhere in Mexico, but at least Cancun. That's where I got my 2 bottles. And that's where I acquired your bottle.
Mm-hmm.
It's from that airport.
All right, well let's go to the last one, the regular
not done yet.
Russell's single barrel, and see how it competes. I'm gonna rinse out my glass.
Yep. Oh, it's so good. You can even see the oils in the glass when you rinse it. There's so much more.
Russell's Reserve, single barrel, 55% alcohol. Is this going to be something that the masses can find to compare to the 13? What do you think?
I have not been able to find the single barrel a lot recently.
No, it's been expensive. It's gone up in price and been harder to find.
I've seen the rye more than the bourbon.
Really?
Which I still don't have a rye, which I need to get, but.
All right. Nose. It's got more cherry on it than
The 13?
than the rare breed, but also more than the 13. Yeah. Yes.
I mean, it's only 4 proof points different? Because that's 110.
Percentages.
No.
That's 57.
Yeah.
So, 3. Not 4
Okay.
proof points. It's 3% hotter. It'd be 6.
Okay.
Math. Proofing, double.
I can't
Half,
read or
take
do
away.
math, so. Well, what proof is the Russell 13?
It's 57.4, something like that.
That's not what I asked.
Well, it's double that. Like 115 something.
114.8.
Right. 114.8.
So it's 4.8.
Rare breed is 116.8.
Mhm.
It's the highest. And this is 110.
Yep. So it's only a little under the other 2.
I like the nose on it. It's more of it's like a strawberry licorice.
Oh, wow. Yeah, strawberry.
Maybe less cherry than I was originally thinking, but the red fruit. All right, let's taste it.
They're all so different.
This is like, I talked about it on the rare breed. This is like drinking the concentrated strawberry like shell for the ice cream, like a liquid form.
I get more cherry than strawberry, but I definitely can see what you're saying.
Caramel, vanilla.
I forgot how good this bottle is.
No, it's really good.
Wow.
Like it's actually a lot closer to the rare breed.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot. This is so sad.
Russell 13 is not. It's overhyped. FOMO.
It really is overhyped. Well, is it possible that because both of these bottles have been open for the single barrel has been open for at least a year.
There's the problem with that is there's been a lot of studies that suggest that whiskey does not oxidize like wine. So even if it sits at that 80% fill level with a little bit of the headspace, in theory, it's not going to change.
Okay.
But I will say, there is another side that says there is a noticeable difference. Now, I would agree that I feel like at some points that I feel like there's differences in there from day by day. But I think what the more realistic thing is, it's just you changing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm completely against it, because I do feel like there have been circumstances where like, oh my goodness, this is like completely different. But what I'm getting to is that Russell's has been opened since the day I got it, which has been what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, around that.
So it has been open for 2 weeks with a little bit less, or a little bit, taken from it. It hasn't changed since day one that I got it. So,
honest, there's not much more out of the single barrel than there was the 13.
The 13 has way more. Oh, I see volume wise. Yes.
Yeah.
The two things that are missing from this single barrel, the oak, and the pepperness.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is you're going to have everyone saying that it's a single barrel, you dummies, so it's going to be different.
Right.
Yeah, but I think the takeaway from this is at least these two knuckleheads both agree that the Russell's on its own is good, but I think there's much more value. And we think that personally that the rare breed, at least the non-chill filtered, and the Russell single barrel are where it's at.
I hate this. I hate it so much.
And this is let it be known. This is exactly what I told you when I first tried it. I'm like, it's overhyped. I said it was fine, and it is.
I always assume that it is. Because just like the 101 Wild Turkey 101 12 year, overhyped.
I think you know what we should do. I think we have to try the regular rare breed.
I was gonna say that too.
You want to get it?
Yeah.
All right. Now we have the regular. I repeat, the regular, normal,
chill filtered
Russell's.
Whoa. Wild Turkey rare breed.
Wild Turkey rare breed.
Barrel proof.
What's the proof on this? Is it the same 116.8?
Yep.
Okay, so the only difference is chill filtering.
Yep.
Cool. On the nose, already, maple's gone.
Yep. Wow, that is weird. See, now it's just cherry. Just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of cherry.
What is that?
What? Do you smell something?
So, yeah, something just hit me like a vanilla, like a can, like
in the,
like from your house.
Oh, probably the trash bag.
Wow, I can get that from the trash bag.
Probably.
That's crazy, actually.
You got that super sniffer.
I am a super sniffer.
Dylan, the super sniffer.
Super sniffer. Let me smell you.
Ooh. You shouldn't have to ask. You can probably smell them from across the room.
Yeah. Yeah, it's mostly cherry. The alcohol is more present also.
Yeah. It's probably just me, and it probably sounds crazy, but I get like coffee almost.
I don't know. All right, let's taste it. This is still better.
Oh, yeah.
The maple kind of shows up on the palate now a little bit, but not as strong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Does it taste hotter
It does. Then
than the other
non-chill
rare-
filtered?
Yeah, the non
NFC.
NFC or NCF.
Maybe a little bit.
It tastes hotter to me. Jeez, I can smell that garbage bag.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Well, we got to redo all of them.
This has more corn
Yeah.
on it. I can taste more corn than the NCF.
And it's more vanilla.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
But here's that.
I'd still...
It's so much better value.
I would still rather drink that over the Russell's 13, which I can't believe I just said that because you know how long I've been like, oh, I gotta go Russell's 13.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta go Russell's 13.
I've been looking forward to. I mean, I thought the Russell's 13 was going to be good. And it is good.
It's good. That's the problem, is it's good.
It should be priced $20 more than the Rare Breed, though.
Yeah, it should be $80.
That's my hot take.
Wow. This just blew my mind.
You know, the other thing is I wonder, if you were to water it down, if it would get rid of, because I think my problem is I like the oakiness on it.
I do too.
But it's just, it doesn't have complexity.
Mm-mm.
I wonder if you just water it down, if it would bring the complexity back.
Yeah, but both rare breeds it's so much more complex. And
it is
technically hotter than the 13.
Yeah, but not by much. I mean, we're talking like half a.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't get it.
The only bad thing I would say about the normal rare breed is it seems like you can see the more corn grain forward notes more easily than the others.
Right.
Than the other Russells, than the NCF rare breed. Whereas the Russell's 13, you get no grain notes. So that's my thought. I mean, my choices would be if you can get the rare breed non-chill filtered.
Yep.
100% get that. It's so like the normal rare breed. The value is through the roof. It's a liter. It's amazing.
Barrel proof.
Yep. Hopefully one day you can experience that one. Otherwise, the Russell's single barrel is fantastic.
Again, it's a single barrel, but still.
Otherwise, you're not missing out on much with just getting the regular rare breed. You're saving a lot of money.
Is it bad to say that Russell's 13 is probably my last pick out of these four?
I mean, that's kind of what we agreed on.
Yeah. I think my whole life has just gone to nothing.
You know what we should do? I've been talking about this for a while. I think what we should do in the future.
Yep.
It'll be a while because these are batched, but we should do an Instagram live stream.
Okay.
Of the Russell's 13. And this is blind. We do a blind. The 13. The father and son.
Okay.
13. The 101-12.
Okay.
We could do the decades Master's Keep.
Do you have enough?
Oh, yeah. I think so. Yeah. Depending on how many people blind.
Right.
And then
non-chill filtered? Burberry?
Yeah, non-chill filtered. See which one comes out on top.
I think I already know which one's going to win.
Decades?
No.
I personally think it's the decades or the...
It's going to be a
rare breed.
Tight race between the non-chill filtered rare breed and the decades.
Yeah. And if you have a sample that you can send to us of the Russell's single rickhouse, so we can compete in this, you can contact me at Dylan at Whiskey House Pub House on Instagram.
Don't even get me started on that, man. Hey, and you know what?
And we will put your name in the description of the episode.
So I follow on Facebook Like they have the what's at Buffalo Trace today, what's at Jim Beam today, what's
Sure.
at Heaven Hill today. They have one for the gift shop at Wild Turkey.
Yep.
Every once in a while, they'll have the single rick house.
This was like $300.
I didn't even think about that. I have no idea.
They're $300. They're like
There's
over
no
two.
way they're $300.
No, they're over $200.
Let me look right now.
Dude, the 13-year is $130.
Right, but like
The rick house, the single rick house is from Camp Nelson, which is
are you
gone.
serious?
Yeah, how much is it?
Oh, nope, wrong one.
It's over 2.
I don't trust that.
Oh, come on.
I don't trust it.
You've looked up like 2 websites
I don't
now.
trust it. I forgot how to spell.
R
Yeah, I know.
U Bourbon.
Single rick house. They have them on Reserve Bar right now for $250.
The single rick house
Yeah,
for $250?
yeah.
That doesn't seem right.
Yeah, $250. That's MSRP. Do they actually have them on Reserve Bar?
Reserve Bar is shady.
I thought you liked Reserve Bar.
Oh, I'm thinking Cask Cartel.
What's
Yeah,
in the name?
Don't buy anything from Cask Cartel. I still wouldn't buy anything off. I wouldn't buy anything that expensive off of a. The problem with Reserve Bar is it's not them. They're not the distributor. They're
Right.
They're just a web platform for other stores.
Yeah, $250.
Mm,
They don't ship to our area.
yeah, so it's not stock.
Yeah.
So yeah. So 250. So I was right. So yeah.
This is annoying.
I am always right. Let it be known. Next week we'll do a bourbon quiz and we'll see how much you can get right.
Oh boy. I better start studying. 'Cause that's not going to end very well.
You can't cheat. You can't go look at the quiz.
All right.
Anyways,
I don't even think I could if I wanted to.
we're already well over time on this episode.
Well,
So we should wrap it up.
We will be enjoying our trip down to Kentucky at this point.
Yeah, at this point, oh my goodness.
Well, actually, will we? Because this is the 6th. So we leave tomorrow.
We'll be leaving tomorrow. Oh my goodness. On the road again. Can't wait to get on the road again.
A nice, what is it, a 12-hour drive to Dayton, Ohio?
Is it? Yeah. Oh my, yeah.
We're going to Dayton, and then we're going to go some major Weller hunting on Friday.
We'll see. I'm a little suspicious.
I am too, but
Suspicious.
I've heard a lot of people say you can walk in and there's 107 sitting on the shelf.
We're going to find all the Weller colors of the rainbow.
Oh, geez. I don't think I have that kind of money. Well,
The white, the black, blue, red,
orange.
orange, green.
I think
That
that's
new
it.
one.
Oh, the Daniel Weller.
No, we're not going to find
Is that white? Is that one white too?
No, it's like a clear, translucent. Anyways, we're going to land this plane much better than that guy in the jet just did.
Oh, boy.
And join us next time for the second episode in the Bourbon Heritage Month. And hopefully we got other guests, hosts on, and that'll do it on this episode. Like and follow us on Instagram and the Spotify, wherever you get your listens. And join us next time. Goodbye.